How's all going? Going all right? Yeah. Good stuff. We appreciate their partnership because here's the deal. I don't charge the school anything for the content that I'm going to share with you. And we love the partnership with them because they have a very distinct interest, genuine interest in helping all their members exceed expectations and frankly reach your goals and dreams. And I will tell you right now, get ready for about 45 minutes of fun. Fun because the more I speak on campuses, the more I speak everywhere I go, there will be a few to maybe several lives changed here today. Not because of me, but if you really focus on what I'm about to tell you and these 5 specific steps to take to become financially successful and truly live a life that fits your dreams, it's for your taking. It's that simple. So beyond some of the stories I'm going to share throughout with a couple of people that we've been just hearing from just as recent as the last couple of days that are following this plan, it is an absolute privilege to share this plan with anyone from any economic background, any cultural background, because here's the reality, guys, ladies and gentlemen, is this. It does not matter where you came from, what your economic background is, how well your parents have managed money or how well they haven't managed money for you to become financially successful. And let me just repeat this quickly from yesterday or the day before, which I actually didn't share this yesterday, and this is the case. It does not matter what the economy is doing right now, whether it's just kind of still sputtering along, or it doesn't matter who's in the White House now or who was in the White House 4 years ago or who was going to be in 4 years from now. Absolutely has no bearing for you to become financially successful. So anybody ready to hear some more details? You're like, yeah, show me, right? All right, we'll do that. We'll do that. Again, sponsored by Mountain America Credit Union. Well, here's how my story began. That is actually not me. Just making sure we're clear. I look at all that hair. That would have been awesome. It just didn't stay. So I started cutting grass at age 16. In our home, I was the youngest of 7, grew up in Dayton, Ohio. Went to University of Dayton. Anybody a college basketball fan out here? Anyone? My Flyers finally are making the NCAA tournament on a regular basis. That's all I can really say here or there. But at age 16, I started to cut grass. Being the youngest of 7, like I said, it was an unwritten rule to get a job in our house, in our home. And I kind of broke that rule at age 14. I started to cut a few lawns in the neighborhood. Anybody cut grass by chance? Nice. A lot of hands going up. And so it was about mid-November. I was a freshman in high school, and my dad, I'm walking downstairs. I see him at the kitchen tables on a Saturday morning. It's just like yesterday. This is so vivid. And I see him looking at the newspaper, and he has got a big magnifying glass out. He's looking at the paper, and I'm eating my cereal, likely Captain Crunch, by the way. That's what I grew up on with Crunch Berries. Yeah. My mom would actually make the mistake and bring home Captain Crunch without Crunch Berries sometimes, and it was like, are you kidding me? So I was eating my cereal. I look across the table at my father with the magnifying glass of the newspaper. Anybody take a guess? What was he doing? What did you say? Wow. You guys are smart, because I don't get that quickly around the country. He was exactly right, looking at his stocks. And I'm going, Dad, what are you doing? He said, I'm looking at my stocks. I said, what's that? He said, how much did you make this past summer? I said, about $2,500. He said, you need to start investing some of that cash on Monday. And I'm like, okay, what are you talking about? Why don't you buy 10 shares of Johnson & Johnson? And I said, who are those guys? No idea what he was talking about. He said, no, they make Tylenol, Band-Aid brands, and all that. I got it. So there I was on Monday morning. I buy 10 shares of J&J stock from his college buddy, who's now a stockbroker. Tom Loftusweiler is his name. And I'm like, I was shaking. Can I buy 10 shares of Johnson & Johnson, please? And he's like, sure, Todd. I'm like, okay. And he tells me it was at $43.25, by the way, $43.25. Today, it's all decimals, but I remember my original stock purchase. It's kind of sad. It's kind of like a child. When you buy your first stock, you will know exactly what you bought it at, because it's like a big time deal, right? And so I did that, and I paid $75 in commission, and I'm like, okay, I hung up the phone, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was nervous. I was nervous every day looking at my stock. 4 weeks later, no joke, an idiot, and that's a really nice name for this person. I'll just keep it at that. This jerk, that's a really nice name as well, walks into a pharmacy in Chicago, laces Tylenol caplets with cyanide, 5 to 6 people die as a result of that. It was called the Tylenol scare. Anybody hear that? With market research, you probably did some of that? Oh, absolutely. And so what happened is, being 15, 16 years old, I was pretty much in Todd's world, right? At that time, it was all about me, as most teenagers are. I didn't think much about the people who lost their lives and the families, right? I was more interested in what happened to my stock. And what happened to J&J stock is it plummeted from $43 a share down to $28. And this was my look when my dad got home that evening. I was waiting for him at the garage door where he'd come in from his day of work. And I said, did you hear what happened? He goes, no. I said, this is what happened. My stock is down. I called it my stock, which is true because I owned part of that company. He said, this is the perfect time for you to buy more. I'm like, what? You're crazy. I'm not buying more. He said, yeah, you should buy more. Thankfully, I didn't sell my stock because that's what I wanted to do. Regretfully, I didn't buy more, but I held on. And as time wore on, as a senior at University of Dayton, almost 8 years later, I looked at the statement in the mail. My $430 investment turned into nearly $2,000. Crazy stuff, right? I thought I knew and I had the golden ticket on campus, is what I felt. I started interviewing college students around me. Hey, do you own stock? No. You don't own anything? No. And it was a pretty nice school to go to. It was a pretty penny to go to University of Dayton, by the way, a private school. So nobody had stock. I'm like, there's something missing here, because I'm not the sharpest crayon in the box on campus and school, by the way. I would get my B's, decent amount of C's, an occasional A, but I had something, and I had this knowledge that I knew was going to take me someplace, and this is exactly what it did. So that's a beginning part of my story. The rest begins with this. I started Young Money magazine, back in 2000, really, 99, 2000. We published over 7 million copies. We had some pretty cool folks on the cover. Look how young Mark Cuban looks, right? Danica Patrick looks like she's going to her prom. That's how young she looks, right? So we had some pretty fun personalities on the cover. While this was all fun and great, we also realized, wait a minute, the digital world has taken off. This print magazine business, we can't really reach that many. And are they taking the content from the magazine and applying it? We didn't know. So we did a test of our campus events around the country at 4 major schools: U of A, University of Arizona, UCLA, Ohio State, and University of Florida. And we were perplexed in a positive way. We were excited about the response to students coming up to us at our display and saying, hey, I've got some issues with my money. I suck at saving. That's what we would hear a lot. I need to know how to do this. I am terrible at this. I would like to invest, but I have no idea how to do this. Or I've got some credit card issues. I've got a lot of debt I'm dealing with. How do I do this? How do I get out? We had an overwhelming response to what we were doing on campus. And what's funny about Young Money Live is that we would have people come up to us and say, wow, is that Lil Wayne coming on campus? Is that Nicki Minaj with the record label? We had that all over the place. And we'd be like, no, it's just us. But they didn't care because we were, as you can see, the traffic was always very heavy and continues to be when we do the outside part. So that being said, why is this so important? Understanding how to think differently about money now can set you up for an absolute life that fits your dreams. Think about this. Think about money differently is the key word here. That's what I'm going to teach you over the next 40 minutes. 86% of you would rather learn about money now before making real-world money mistakes. Who's in that camp? I'm sure you all are. 76%, 3 out of 4 Americans are living paycheck to paycheck and have less than $1,000 in savings. I have zero judgment against that 76% of Americans. Zero. Why? Because I wholeheartedly believe that they simply don't know what they don't know. No question. And this is what I hear all around the country from the millennial group. Generally speaking, I love my parents, but I just want to do money differently. Anybody in that camp? And so the bottom line is that we are teaching now hundreds, thousands, and now tens of thousands of millennials, and we have a ton of adults, if you want to call people in their 40s and 50s or what, 30s, 40s, and 50s and beyond, that are actually doing this plan. We had I was going to guess at his age. I'm saying he was probably 65-ish at Canisius College in Buffalo, New York, on a recent event last year or recently. He said, "Hey, I heard you're going to be on campus. Am I too old to come in?" I said, "Absolutely not. Take a seat, please. We'd love to share with you how to do money differently and take it forward with your family and your grandchildren as well." So we had a lot of fun with him. The question is, are you going to be a financial survivor or a financial success? Can anybody tell me in here, when you hear the word financial survivor, notice the weight, and then you like my emoji over there with woo? If someone's a financial survivor, what are they doing with money? What is their behavior with money? Just take a stab at things that they're doing on a daily or weekly basis with money. What are some things that come to mind if someone's deemed a financial survivor? Yes?
Paying bills.
Just paying bills. Okay? Yeah, sure. Anybody else? A financial survivor. What are some behaviors? Sure. Yeah. No, there's both sides, 100%. 100%. So I know that you want to be a financial success, but the question is, how do I get there? How do I do it? And I'm going to teach you now how to actually do money differently. I'm going to teach you how to dream differently, save it, spend it, invest it, and give money differently to live a life with even more purpose and meaning, which is really what all human beings want, and especially what millennials are telling the media and telling us and telling me, that you want to have more purpose and meaning, as well as kind of live a pretty cool life too, with more experiential living. Anybody in that camp of experiencing life with travel or things like that versus maybe stuff? And there's nothing wrong with stuff, but here's where we go. We're going to start the pedal right now. Step one, which is part of the new book that I've launched, Young Money. We have a very exciting curriculum called Young Money University that is really just humbly taking so many people down a new road of thinking. That's all this is. How I can equate this is this. When you're driving a car on the highway and you're going 75 miles an hour, you know this. How much do you have to turn the steering wheel to go from the center lane to the left or the right? Probably about this much, right? Just because at that speed, you just need to go like this, right? Now, 25 miles an hour, that same steering wheel, how much do you have to turn that wheel left or right? A lot to get over, right? What I'm going to share with you is pretty much highway driving that is going to change your thinking just a little bit so that you can absolutely do this plan and get on a road to success. You can actually do some of this today, even with the folks from out in America here, because they have that ability. You'll hear about that in a moment. So make a decision to dream. Step one. All starts with knowing your personal why. This step has nothing to do with money. And this is where I believe it's missing out on traditional financial education that is all well intended, but it's not doing much on behavioral change. Here's my humble opinion as to why. Because we're not focusing on the human heart, mind, and soul, on why anyone in here wants to be financially successful. Can anybody I'm being very transparent with you throughout this next 35, 40 minutes. Can anyone tell me right now, why do you ultimately want to be financially successful? What comes to mind? Yes?
It's a little bit less stressful.
Makes life a little bit less stressful. Absolutely. 100%. Yes?
Take care of my kids.
Take care of your kids. To ultimately give to others. Yeah. Yeah. How many times, and again, I'm in the same boat in a lot of respects as you, but how many, in some respects, but let me throw something out. You hear on social media, you hear on the news or locally that something happened bad to somebody. Let's just take Puerto Rico, for example, or Houston, right? Or the Virgin Islands. I don't know about you, but I'm like, gosh, I want to go and help. how can I help, right? Because you're like, I literally have people living in my home as tenants in a house that we own in Orlando, Florida, where I lived for 14 years prior to moving back to Cincinnati, that were complaining of having electricity off for 4 days. And while it's inconvenient, right, having electricity off, I wanted to politely tell them, please, are you not watching television and seeing what's really going on? And so the point of the matter is there's a lot of stuff going on out in the world that wouldn't you love to help and give? Well, we'll talk about that in a moment as well. So your why will be your ongoing fuel and motivation to keep you on this money plan. You've got to create one and cultivate one. It doesn't mean you need to know by today, but most people, most millennials, your age group, anybody, it'll take you about a week at the most, maybe 2, to cultivate your ultimate why. You need to have a why, because I will tell you in step 2, 3, and 4 how to do money differently, actual behavioral change. But who gives a rip if you don't have enough fuel to even do it, right? That's what it boils down to. That's what financial and life success boils down to. You've got to have a fuel and a motivation to do something different in the first place. But money gets in the way for all of us when it comes to wanting to do something, but we can't. And so hopefully over time that's going to be out of your way. Finally, this step ends with overcoming. Of course, for the sake of time, we don't have the time to go through all the details. That's what the information's for too. But overcoming the fear of failure. Be honest with me, who tried out for a sport or cheerleading in high school and did not make it? Who wants to thank you for the honesty. Congratulations, awesome, thank you for your honesty, but here's more important. Good effort. You tried. Those who were in their bedroom or in the kitchen on a Sunday night before tryouts happened, on that Monday, if you go back, and you decided in your room, and no one else knew, but you told yourself, I'm not trying out. It's a little scary. I don't want to fail. Guess what? You had already failed at that moment. When you don't try, that is simply failure. So we need to reframe this definition of failure that seems to be impacting really humanity, it seems like. Our fear of failure is so high. But let me give you an acronym that hopefully it'll stick with you. Fear really stands for false evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. Can anybody relate to that? I mean, there's times when my phone will blow up and I'm like, could be something I could be fearful of. No, that's false evidence appearing real, right? So when you understand about fear of failure, that it is only when you don't try something, then you have failed. So this ability to try this financial success plan, if you want to call it, go for it. You'll see how simple it is. And if you're thinking, well, maybe I just can't be successful with money because of my family wasn't, the economy is still sputtering along, all those things that I told you that hampers some of your thinking, it can be absolutely blown away with what you're going to see here. Make sense so far? So step 1 has nothing to do with money, but you've got to get through the different way to think. Step 2 is the beginning fun step of money change that can happen within hours for some of you. Save money automatically. What's the key word you think in that step? It is not save. It is automatically. Because saving money, we all know it's important, right? And you know that. I don't need to be here. Could you imagine if that step said save money? If I was sitting here in your chairs, I'd be like, oh my gosh, he's part of the Business Leaders Forum speaker and he's telling us to save money. Hello, I know. I mean, you'd be like, God, who brought him in? I'd be like this, when is this going to be done? No, but here's the real deal. A majority of Americans, a high majority of Americans, save money the wrong way. You're like, what? How can you save money the wrong way? Okay, well, listen to these next few words. How many of you have tried in your mind, you've attempted, and said things like, I'm going to save X amount of money by end of summer, or I'm going to save X amount of dollars by Christmas time or the end of the year? Anybody been down that road? Okay. Generally speaking, how did that work out? Some it did, and some it didn't. I have a lot of people go, yeah, it didn't work out as well as I hoped. When you start saving money automatically, all you're doing is this. Remember, I'm helping to change your thinking about money. You're going to get yourself out of the way of who? Yourself. Because you know, and who's done this, because today, right, isn't this your, where's my phone? Isn't this your bank today? Right? That's your bank. How many of you have looked at your savings account balance, if you have one, and said, hey, I've got a pretty decent amount of cash in there. That could be $500 for some of you. It could be $2,000 for others. And how easy is it to pull money out to spend it?
Super easy.
Super easy. Super easy. And so what you need to do is you need to get yourself out of the way of yourself to get ahead with money. And it begins with saving money differently. And then, once you create the automation, which, by the way, any bank or credit union allows you to automatically transfer money from your checking to your savings each month. You get to pick out the 15th of the month, the 25th of the month, whatever day you want, automation begins. That is the key to beginning stages of not only creating financial health for you, but beginning stages, as you'll see in step 4, to creating long-term, ridiculous wealth. Okay? So hang in there with me. Here's the second part of step 2. You're going to create multiple named savings accounts, or what I like to call digital envelopes. We go into detail with that too in the book as well. Digital envelopes. This is super exciting. And not all the big banks have this, so I just want to be very clear. I'm not anti-bank at all, but they just don't have this feature. You can create multiple named savings accounts for your short-term needs and wants, like this. What if you had a savings account, all for free, by the way, unlimited, by the way, with Mountain America, all for free, that you can now have an account called emergency fund, and I recommend you build up to $500 because has anybody had anything, life happen to them before, out of the blue? Any parking tickets, speeding tickets, broken iPhone, glass, right? Stuff happens. Who owns a car in here? Do they work perfectly? Maybe. Well, that's good. What do you own? You have a.
I don't. I'm being facetious.
Okay.
It's awesome.
Subarus are great. Yes. So.
Still like every other week.
Yeah, I think every time I'm out here, Subaru and Utah are like synonymous, right, with the mountains and all that. But cars do not work perfectly, and so you'll come across those expenses out of the blue. What if you had an account called car maintenance, and you're putting $30 a month, $50 a month into the car maintenance account each and every month, and when that car needs some serious repair or just some minor repair or maintenance, you have it ready to go. Ladies, what if you had an account called clothes and shoes? Who would be up for that? Anybody?
That should be the emergency fund.
Absolutely. And some of you guys are like, dude, I like clothes and shoes too. That's fine. You can have your own account called clothes and shoes. How about a travel savings account? Literally called travel. And you're putting 30, 40, it doesn't matter the beginning number right now. I want to be very clear. It could start out with $5 a month. It doesn't matter. You're putting money away into these individual named savings accounts. And here's what's going to happen. Your thinking is changing, and you look at your account, and you're going, oh, okay. I just was tempted by my good friend to go out this weekend or this or that, or the new pair of jeans I think that I really need. You're starting to think about money differently. Why? Because every dollar of income that you make per month is now going to have a name associated to it. If you keep saving with one savings account, I just tell it like it is, because I want you to reach your maximum potential in life, because and what happens is financial stress gets in the way of that. When you have a single savings account, you're going to be looking at ongoing money frustration for days, weeks, months, and years ahead. Why? Because you have no name to it. And it'll continue to be a potential paycheck-to-paycheck mentality. You follow? That's what can happen. So you need to absolutely begin to put names to your dollars. And this is a wonderful way to do that. I can't say enough about, here's one too. We have people using an account called Fund Money. They just call it Fund Money. My wife has an account called fun money. It's her own money to do whatever she wants with her girlfriends or whatever she wants to do. Finally, my son Jack recently said, hey, Dad, I got my 5th savings account. He's 22. It was a conversation on the phone about something else, and at the end he said, hey, I got a 5th account. And I said, what do you call it? What are you calling it? He said, Hawaii. I'm like, sweet. When are you going? And so we're saving $60 a month in that account each and every month because he's going to go out. He was a student at University of West Florida. There's a program called Surf and Serve where he would help some impoverished people on the island of Oahu and then learn how to surf the second week. And so what are the chances of my son Jack taking money out of his Hawaii account to go spend it on anything else? Yeah, very, very small. It's the same thing with yourselves. Put a name to every dollar. All right, step 3. How are we doing so far on the steps? Step 1, can anybody decide to dream differently? Create your personal why, cultivate it. Step 2, begin to save money automatically using digital envelopes. That is something you can do today. Just say no sometimes is step 3. This is a pretty quick step that we'll get through. I'm going to look at my time here. Okay, we're doing good. Develop a realistic spending plan or budget by becoming aware of your monthly income and expenses. I use the term cash flow plan a lot. We use it in our course, Young Money University, and our program as well, coaching program. Students, millennials, anybody kind of likes that. But here's the deal. It's really a budget. Whether you like it or not, it's a budget. But cash flow just seems to sound a little better, right? You're going to look at what you spend your money on, how much you got coming in. Let's use $1,000 or $2,000 for simple dollar sakes, right? $1,000 a month. You're going to attach every single dollar of income to an expense, is what we teach. So you're going to have cell phone bill, whatever, $65, rent, whatever, car payment if you have one, car maintenance, car insurance, clothes, whatever it is. You're going to attach a dollar amount to each one of those expenses. It'll be pretty simple. While there's some cool applications, right, online and some apps to help you follow, it's all great. But this nice piece of paper that this gentleman, this notebook, all you guys are writing on, it can start with that. Drawing a line down the middle and put income on the left, expenses on the right. It'll take you about 90 days to start equaling out your income and expenses, maybe a little longer, because all you're trying to do is get to zero. It's a zero-based budget. So you have $1,000 of income as an example, and you want to put every dollar of that $1,000, have it become zero at the end. Make sense? Put a name to every single dollar. And all you're going to do is you're going to say no to sometimes. That's why we call it just say no sometimes. Who can be real with me again in here? What's your biggest spending challenge on what it might be? Is there any things that you're like, oh man, I know I spend too much money on? Thanks, yes. Okay. All of it. Anybody have a hand up back here? Yeah? Okay, yes.
Just eating out.
Eating out, yep. Here's, I appreciate the honesty, and that's getting forward. When you are honest with yourselves, you move forward, no question. Here's something about Starbucks. I would recommend you go to Starbucks, buy the nicest coffee mug that they have, that titanium one right by the checkout. And you're like, what? He's telling me to spend money at Starbucks again? So whatever it costs, just buy it. Then go to your local, what's your grocery store out here again? What's like your chain? Smith's. Go to Smith's and find the nicest Colombian coffee, or maybe even the Starbucks brand coffee. Brew it at home, like twice a week, but pour it into your nice titanium Starbucks logo coffee mug, right? Walk onto campus, logo out. Nobody knows what's inside except who? You. The Colombian coffee that's about maybe 24 cents is inside as opposed to the $3.25. So while I'm not anti, people talk about the latte factor and just stop going to Starbucks. I will not tell you to stop going to Starbucks. If I did, and if I told you to stop buying candy, I again would be like, who brought this jerk in here, right? No, I'm saying if you want to get ahead, which is all, you said you all want to do this, right? You want to get ahead and have an amazing life to affect others. You're going to, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything though today. I'm not telling you to stop going to Starbucks, but you might have to say no, what? Sometimes. Because when you tweak, it's no different than that driving on the highway at 75. You're just tweaking a little bit. You don't have to go cold turkey on candy. You don't have to go cold turkey on car parts, right? You don't have to go I'm not telling you that. It would be hard to do any of that. That's just not how you're going to see growth. You're going to tweak things. That's all you're doing is you're going to think differently, and you're going to tweak things. So here we go. This step, people tell me, Todd, why don't you put this first? I'm like, I can't. This step is ridiculous. This step is the kingpin to a life that can fit your dreams. Oh my gosh, there's a word invest in there. My knees are shaking. That's scary. How many people think investing is scary? Okay, good. Thank you. Again, love the honesty coming out of the room. Well, let me just quickly tell you, investing is not. I'll tell you why in a moment. But invest money automatically is step 4. What word is showing up there again? Automatically. I'm going to teach you how to create wealth on autopilot. Who's up for that? Autopilot wealth. Automatic monthly investing in solid stocks and bonds creates wealth over time. Keyword, solid stocks and bonds. Well-chosen words. My story, if I have time at the end, I'll share more of my personal story about Todd Romer investing in non-solid stocks way back in the day when I treated the stock market like a casino and not an investment platform. I was playing black and red. That's all I was. And you'll hear that in step 5. Solid stocks and bonds. Let's see. Apple, Microsoft, Google, Procter & Gamble, Johnson & Johnson, Coca-Cola, IBM. Are those companies, and it's just a few, I don't have time, are those companies going out of business anytime soon? Okay. Do they make products and services? Okay. So we're talking about investing in entities that basically have to happen for humanity to keep doing what it does, right? So we'll get into a little bit of that in a moment, but this is really, don't worry about these individual stocks and don't even worry about the word stock. Don't let it scare you. By the way, faculty here, the employees at Mountain America here, guarantee you they all have money in stocks in their retirement plan, a 401k plan, right? Most faculty here. Your parents, where they're working, they have money in stocks through their 401k plan or their retirement plan. So, man, there's not billions, there's trillions of dollars already invested in the stock market. Investing in stocks, though, today has never been easier and requires very little money to start. So true. The time to live when it comes to financial opportunity, believe it or not, is now. And I'm not saying, oh, yeah, right. You say that to everybody. You probably said that 10 years ago. Nope. When I was your age, it cost me a lot of money. I had to have $1,000 to invest in a mutual fund back in the day. That was the minimum. Today, here's what you need to begin investing, to have a professional manage it for you. So you're not technically choosing, oh, man, what stock should I buy? I have to decide what stock? No. If your car broke, are you going to take it to a professional mechanic or a buddy's, friend's, uncle's dog sitter that thinks he's decent at fixing cars?
Well, I would probably be that buddy's friend's uncle.
I love it. That's awesome. You're awesome. I'm going to take you on my tour with me. Since you said car parts there. But most you're going to take it to a professional mechanic, right? Of course. Same thing. Have a professional manage your money and invest it into stocks that they know are going to be slowly going up over time. Here's the fun thing. You want to get on this train over here called the compound interest train. Before I show you some numbers, can anybody tell me what compound interest is? You know what? I do not hear that very often all across the country. Tens of thousands of students that I've talked to. I know you're like, no, I know what compound interest is. Trust me, I know you're like, I know it, but you articulated that beautifully. Interest upon interest. And before I show you the numbers, here's the simple definition in terms of, let's say, Mountain America Credit Union. Let's say they pay 10% interest on Monday on their savings account. Do you think you might have a line from here to Las Vegas? Yes, right? There'd be a line. You're like, what? Mountain America's paying 10%? Everybody would line up to get that interest rate. And you begin to put a $100 deposit into your account, let's say, and they're paying 10%. You wait 12 months, you go back a year, and you're like, hey, I want my $100, please. Mountain America says, sure, here's your $100. They're going to give you another $10, correct? 10% of 100, so you have $110. You're like, actually, I don't need it. I'm going to keep it in with the bank with you, so I really don't need it. You go back, and after 24 months, you go back, and they say, okay, I want my money. They're going to give you the $100 back, another $10, right, for first year's interest. They're going to give you another $10, right, for year 2. Is everybody following? This is a big deal. If you don't understand this, please don't be bashful. Say, I still don't get it. Remember, year 2, they're going to give you another $10, right? You take the money of $120, you begin to leave, and they say, wait a minute, where are you going? You're like, what? We owe you some more money. You're like, okay, why? You walk back, and you're like, right, hands out. Why do they owe you more money? Okay, great. That's right, interest upon interest. But how much do they owe you? Boom, 121. They owe you another $1 because 10% on the first year's interest upon interest, is $1. So you have 121 bucks. If you Google a compound interest chart, real simple, year 3, 123 something. Year 4, 126 something. Boom, boom, it gets higher and higher till you start seeing these numbers. What is your first name? Back with the hat on. What is your name?
Sequoia.
Sequoia, nice to meet you. May I ask your age? Is that okay?
Yeah, I'm 21.
Okay. Sequoia, like your name, by the way, more exciting than Todd. We now move you from age 18. You're 20. You said 20, right? 21. Okay, 21. We move you all the way up to age 26. You decide for almost 4 years, nothing. You're just like, yeah, I still don't want to invest. I don't know. I like what he said, but I'm still not doing it. Well, you finally decide at age 26 to begin investing. $150 a month, automatically coming out of her Sequoia's checking account to her investment account. That's managed by professionals. I have a couple of examples I can share later. We have in the book of where to start doing that. So that's $1,800 a year, Sequoia. You do this every single year until you're age 65. Your total investment is $72,000, using just a little bit above the average annual rate of return of the stock market, which is around 11.25% right now. So we're just a little bit above that. It's not much difference. Look what happens to your $72,000 over time. $1.7 million in change. Interest upon interest upon interest. Are you okay with that return?
Oh, yeah.
Did you hear that? She wasn't very timid in that response. She said, oh, yeah. Okay. All right. How about the gentleman in the back? What's your name? Andre, how old are you?
28.
Okay. I'm going to take you back in time. You certainly don't look that, by the way. So you're like, well, do I look like 48? No, the other way. So here's the deal, Andre. Going back in time, you started at age 18. Okay? You do the same thing, $150 a month at Sequoia, but look at this. You put the brakes on at age 25. You do nothing until 65. Your total investment was only $14,400, 5 times less than Sequoia. And look what happens here. You've got $2.2 million in change when you invested 5 times less than Sequoia. Why is that happening? He got in earlier. He simply started earlier. Was Andre necessarily smarter than Sequoia? No, he wasn't, but there's some people like going, yeah, he is, because he started. All he did was he opened the stinking account. He opened it earlier. Does that take an IQ of whatever? No. See, it doesn't matter how smart you are to be financially successful either. That's one issue that can get in the way of any of you today and in the future. Would you agree? Because who sometimes thinks, I don't know if I'm smart enough to do something? My hand's up. Why am I the only one? Trust me, my wife will ask me sometimes, hey, can you fix that? Recently on a weekend, can you fix whatever? I'm like, sure. I walk away. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have no idea how to do this. Thank God for Google and YouTube, I was able to do it. Trust me, I still go, I don't know if I'm smart enough to do this. It happens to all of us at any time. How about all the new technology we got to use and learn? The point of the matter is, Has nothing to do with how smart you are. You just simply, Andre, open this stinking account. And Andre, I'm going to ask you one more question. Going back in time, would you have really stopped investing at age 25? Would you have stopped? No. Look how quick that was. He didn't have to go, I don't know. That quick response tells you that all of you know that this is how to create wealth. It tells you that you don't have to be super smart. It's just open this stinking account of just what your parents are doing anyway. It's what millions of people have money in stocks. It's just simply doing it. So, Andre, let's take you down the road. You didn't stop. You're doing the boring $150 a month coming out of your checking account into your investment account. Boring, right? You're not like, oh man, I want to invest in that new Silicon Valley stock. Man, that's going to take off. I want to wait for that to happen. Yeah, let's see how that happens, right? And it plays out. So you're doing the boring automated investing. And now you think 2.2 million is a lot for Andre? He has nearly $8 million. Boring. Who wants to become a boring, wealthy person? Not boring, and that's it. Who wants to invest in a boring manner to become wealthy? Yes, 100%. Well, that's how you create wealth. Majority of people, if you've ever read a book called Automatic Millionaire, those are the people that have created wealth this way. They've got, you don't even know, from maybe a modest home, modest car they drive, but they are millionaires because of simply doing automated, boring disbursements, recurring investments each and every month. It's a very exciting time, like I said, to live in today, financially speaking. Anybody heard of an application or a platform called Acorns? 1, 2, okay. Anybody actually using Acorns? Okay, but you've heard of it, okay. I was a beta tester almost 4 years ago with Acorns. I had a student at University of Utah show me his balance yesterday. I'm like, whoa. He was in the 5 figures, and he was in his mid-20s. Acorns is a micro-investing app that allows you to basically round up your purchases. Let's say you go to Starbucks again, and you spend $3.50 on your latte or whatever, your coffee at Starbucks. It'll round up automatically your purchase to the next whole dollar. That 50-cent roundup will go automatically into an investment account that is managed by 3 professional companies who invest for you. PIMCO, BlackRock, and Vanguard. Anybody heard of those companies? Well, if you haven't, they basically rule the financial world. Most money is invested by them. Your parents have money in one of those 3 companies' funds. Spare change that otherwise would go in your pocket and then go into what? Who's got a jar at home? Yep, thank you, yeah. Or absolutely, or whatever box, anywhere, under your couch cushions, all that change is now going to work for you. 1.6 million users now, Acorns has. It's a wonderful way to get your toe wet to begin investing with as little as a penny. So we're talking about a platform that can change many, many lives. As far as time is going, we're almost at the end here, and we'll let some time for the Q&A. I'm going to end with this final step. Pay yourself second. This is all about, for the sake of time, this is all about including others in your financial success plan. And someone said it earlier. What was your name? Moses. You said earlier that you want to have an impact on others, because I have a feeling that you and many other people in this room don't want to go to be 75, 80 years old and look back and go, oh man, is that all there was? Right? That will be a very uncomfortable feeling later in life when you think, oh my gosh, that house, that really cool travel, which is awesome, and put it in your why, by the way. That car that you want to drive, put it in your why. Go after the material things. But if all that you're doing, I guarantee you, you're going to have a very sad ending to your life. And don't say, I kind of implore you to do this just because of personal experience. Don't go, oh, when I make a decent amount of money, that's when I'll help others. That's going to be a not fun place to be either. Not saying you have to do it right away, but I'll guarantee you with my story that I'll end with right now is this. I lost half of my net worth gambling in the stock market instead of investing in it at age 25. I had a lot of money from my lawn mowing business that I started, and I thought I was such a smart investor that when stocks like Amazon were doubling and all these new tech companies back in 2000 that were coming online and into the business world, I invested into 3 companies that had only been around for 3 years or less. I got away from my boring investments and decided, man, I need to double my money within 6 months like these stocks are doing, and I lost half of my net worth. It was the greatest blessing in disguise, though, for me, because I was able to refocus, reframe, where was I wanting to go with my life? And I kind of snuck this picture in real quick here, but we adopted Mia when I was 3. It's been a neat story. I don't have time to share, but we can do that with Q&A. As part of my kind of turnaround in my life when we decided to adopt, because my wife was so interested in adopting. Even when we were dating, she's like, I would love to adopt a girl from China. I would love to go to Tahiti. And I'm like, I'd love to do that. She was like, I would love to do this. And I'm like, ooh, we had this dreaming date we had when we were dating. Like it was our 5th date. She had all these dreams, and she brought in, I'd love to adopt a little girl from China. And I'm like, outwardly, I'm like this. Oh, that's nice. That's cool. Inside, I'm like, what? Let's go back to Tahiti. Those are fun days. Those are fun dreams. Well, she asked about adopting for 10 years during our first 10 years of our marriage, about adopting. I never said yes. I never said no. I just hoped her desire would go away. We have 3 biological boys, and Mia is now 13. We got her when she was 3. It has been a fun ride. No question about it. So, folks, my last step of pay yourself second is about just looking at others. I'm not telling you you have to adopt here. That's not my point. But when you include giving in some form or fashion, it makes life really, really fun. And by the way, before we go to some questions, do you think you might be able to help others with these kind of numbers over time? Boom, yes, Roth IRA. It's a tax-advantaged account that you want to start with as little as $5. So I think right now it's the IRS tax laws change every year. $5,500 a year you can max out with per year for your Roth. So any company, Vanguard, Mountain America can help you with that. They have a great investment division as well to get you started. So I would go with a Roth IRA, tax advantaged. It simply means that when you get older, and you'll see those numbers that we talked about, when you get older and those numbers start to get really big, you pay this much in taxes when you get out. You pay taxes along the way, but it's not as bad at all compared to when you have the big number. Correct. Yeah. Pay 0 of what you earned in an investment return. If you have that, I would highly recommend you go see someone from Mountain America or every financial institution that you have and get guidance on that with a big number, because I'm not going to tell you go dump it in the stock market like that day. Generally speaking, I would slowly, what's that?
Buy something nice for yourself.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Do all that if you want. And then if you're talking about maintaining it, sustaining it, and growing it, meet with a personal advisor. They're going to basically ask you what your age is at that time it happens. And they'll probably allocate it across to diversify with different funds, stock funds, some bond funds, and things like that. Same thing that Acorns really is too, by the way. You don't have to, you can manually put in your roundups. Let's say you have 20, let's say you use your debit card, and you can use your credit card too. Of course, you want to, I'm not anti-credit card, by the way. There are some people that are out there in the marketplace that are like anti-credit card. I think that's completely way too much. So you can use both, but of course you want to be smart using your debit card more than your credit card. But let's say you have 15 transactions in a month, and if you're running tight, you're like, I don't know if I can even afford that roundups. You can go in and instead of automatically having roundup, you can do manually. You just go, I want to put that Starbucks purchase in. You can just see it all on your phone. Let's do that one. Let's round that one up. Let's round that one up. So yeah. Bless you. Yeah. So how about, let me just ask you this very candidly. Did you learn anything today? How's your outlook on your future? Can you do it? What would literally stop you from beginning the steps? Anything that would stop you from beginning the steps?
If I die,
we do not want that to happen. Yeah, I highly recommend you follow them in order. get your fuel going first. We have so many testimonials of people that are from all backgrounds. I can't say enough, from Cole from Indiana to Leandre from Orlando, who now lives in California. Just people that come to mind that they're like, I'm doing this plan, I'm fired up, I've got my why, and they're saving, they're getting their second, third, or fourth savings account. You don't have to have 21 like I do. I mean, I have a complex life with a big family and all that. You don't need to rush to get 20 accounts. You probably only need a couple right away. Then you're going to move to that, wait a minute, I am going to have a closed account. I am going to have a travel account. I am going to eventually, as you earn more money. What this plan has been doing, and the president of Valencia College has said recently, it's keeping seats in my school. He says my school because he wants students to stay in school. Because what's the number one reason why students leave school? Cash, right. This plan is providing enough vigor and energy for people to say, wait a minute, I've got a future. I'm going to stick to my career path, my studies, because I know I can get a job that's going to be decent. Maybe not the dream job like everyone hopes to have right after school. You don't get to your dream job often at all right after school. But you can lead to it, and you're just going to keep adding bigger numbers into your savings accounts in step 2 for life happens and real life stuff, and you're going to add bigger numbers into your investment accounts. The more you make, those numbers are going to increase. It'll change how you spend money. Just, again, thank you for letting me be here, and I hope you enjoyed the time.